Good morning, Trump's family. Welcome back to my channel. Have a good day and God bless you. Thanks for sticking around. Alright, let's get into the news. And what we have here, of course, is Liz Cheney once again, the de facto leader of the January 6th committee, because people understand that her hatred for Trump supporters, the American people, because her allegiances lie with globalists, her allegiance lies with the Democrats and rhinos, the swamp first-based entity within D.C., she does not care about the everyday American individual. Heck, she doesn't even live in Wyoming. She spends the majority of her time in D.C. or in Virginia, she does not go anywhere. She had to fly in to do a debate in Wyoming and then fly right back out right afterwards because she had to be close to the January 16th. Because that was the most pressing thing against our country right now. Really, Liz? Really? Well, she's here on record, basically saying that they found crimes on Donald Trump and they want to send it to DOJ to go after Trump. Trump should never be around office once again. Of course, Wyoming. You guys have a big job to do here in a couple of weeks, as August is getting closer, as your guys' primary is getting closer. Liz Cheney, of course, right now is down 30 points right now in the primary in her own state, where she has reached out to Democrats and has given them instruction on how to change their affiliation from Democrat to Republican in order to vote in this primary. That's how desperate she is to hold on power. But that desperate enough to actually live in Wyoming to address the issues that are facing the state of Wyoming? No, she has to make sure she's going after her political rivals. And that is what Liz Cheney is doing right here. So here on CNN, she is telling Jake Tapper that yes, they have proven and they have evidence of Trump's misconduct and he should not be anywhere near their Oval Office and they're going to send all these criminal referrals over to DOJ. Don't take this lightly. By the way, these people are clowns. And it doesn't stop there. Liz Cheney is also looking to send a subpoena for Justice Thomas's wife, Jean Thomas, in the upcoming hearing. So these people are gunning for every single political opponent they have. What Republicans need to do is hold a press conference tomorrow. Just won't happen, though, because we don't have strong leadership. What they need to do, though, is hold a press conference tomorrow and lay out every single Democrat they're going to subpoena as soon as they retake power, and have them all listed. This would stop tomorrow. If one Republican committee would stand up, the leadership would stand up and say, hey, all right. This is how it's gonna go. And these are the people we're going to call on. And these are the people we're going to investigate. We are sitting our own panel down and you guys are going to answer every single question that we have for you how this whole thing was conducted. So let's go and take a look what Liz Cheney had to say here with Jake Tapper as she prepares to try to indict Trump and prevent him from running for president again. Cheney also says in January 6th committee prepare to consider subpoena of Jean Thomas as well. This is what Jesse Kelly said. It's just what I just said as well. GOP should have a press conference scheduled for Monday. And now new investigating committee will be formed on November 9th. Listed names of the elected Democrats who will be getting a subpoena if this madness doesn't stop now, and then watch this stop now. But there is not going to happen, right? They're not going to stop right now. We don't have Republican leadership bold enough in order to do that. However, Liz Cheney and DOJ, the Biden administration, along with Nancy Pelosi are all gunning to ensure that they can drop an October surprise with President Trump in handcuffs. That is what they want. This is why we see Steve Bannon. We see Peter Navarro, all these Trump people that were around Trump, and they're going to continue to pray these people in front of the cameras, in front of them normies out there, because normies they're going to see as Trump officials arrested, but they won't see what they were arrested for. And they won't see that they actually had been out jail. All they want is that photo. Trump should have absolutely arrested Hillary Clinton when he had the chance because they are going to take that opportunity if it's presented to them. You know, what's the most beautiful thing about Donald Trump as a political figure? Well, it's like I've said a million different times before, it's not about Donald Trump anymore. It never really was about Donald Trump, and even the Don 45 himself has always known that the left has always miscategorized the so-called Trump movement or the America First movement has a cult of personality, but it's some sort of cult that creates shrines in their bedroom of this orange man praying for a big beautiful wall and strong economic policies. But it's complete bogus. It has nothing to do with Donald Trump. I mean, Just basic reality. Donald Trump's 80 years old, he's not going to be here forever. And I think the left-wing media is starting to come to a moment of realization that actually Donald Trump, who has been perceived as the biggest threat to the media establishment, and of course, by direct connection, the Democratic establishment, is really just the tip of the iceberg. The seeds, so to speak, are probably a better metaphor, the man who threw the seeds into the breeze, and now there's a massive forest of America, first candidates and new charismatic, absolutely savage figures that are growing and blossoming and creating a nightmare scenario for the Democrat establishment and especially the media. Ron DeSantis. We know is the future, but there's somebody else coming up that we've covered before: Arizona gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake, who is on an absolute tear. The media and even the neocon establishment, Mitch McConnell, Mike Pence, Liz Cheney, Mitt Romney, those types are trying very hard to shut down. And there's been a lot of phony push-pull data lately, suggesting that she doesn't stand a chance. She's extreme viewed as a Trump puppet. But I'm here to tell you that I'm pretty sure it's all bogus. And we have some other data suggesting the Kari Lake come November is about to become a serious thorn in the mainstream media side. And like I'm saying, folks, this is just the start. This is what Donald Trump created. Let me show you guys what's going on. A little bit of polling analysis here, and just talking about this incredible political movement that started. Gotta give him credits, Donald Trump's political movement that's gone global. We've got some stuff to get into. So let's roll the tape. Alright, so the establishment panic is in full swing. Trump and Pence wade into fierce Arizona primary battle, Mike Pence trying to flex his non-existent political muscle. He's going on an endorsement spree, trying to endorse as many candidates that are challenging Trump-backed candidates as possible, and the media frames the situation as fierce Arizona primary battle. We keep seeing all of these bogus push polls, but the end result, or what Democrat political analysts are telling us, is that Donald Trump candidates are viewed as extreme. Kari Lake is losing to Katie Hobbs by 10 or more points, and even Republicans don't want her. That's what they keep telling you. But the reality is very different than it's actually kind of like a microcosm of the 2016 Trump election victory. We're seeing the exact same signs. For instance, here's Kari Lake at Trump's Arizona rally. She is becoming an absolute superstar. She's had so many epic takedowns, one after another. And left boys are getting real scared when I posted a video that actually had a montage, a bunch of highlights of Kari Lake moments where she goes absolutely savage mode. But once again, it's nothing but coping left-wingers who are trying to convince themselves Kari Lake isn't on a path towards victory. Let me tell you guys very simply, despite some of the polling data that we keep seeing Democrats promote, I'm pretty sure Kari Lake is going to win big, and it's all about the data, but not all the data-specific data. If you're going to make a prediction for a general election or for a midterm, probably something that you shouldn't do is use left-wing bias polling data that has an absolutely abysmal track record. When it comes to accurately predicting the results, you should probably use good sources from people who are usually accurate. Here's Rich Baris, the People's Pundit, a polling expert who is very rarely wrong. The initial article of his headline: Trump and Pence wade into fierce Arizona primary battle. Well, is it really fierce? Not really. Rich Baris writes, okay, I'm allowed to talk about it now. Kari Lake 43% has opened up a solid lead over caring for Arizona. 28.8% Lake leads among those most likely to vote, most enthusiastic about voting in Maricopa-Pima County and remaining combined counties. Kari Lake is not just winning, she's winning by double digits. And that's not counting undecided. I have a feeling that what we're gonna see this election cycle is undecided voters splitting for Republican candidates, especially in a state like Arizona, and we just got this poll right over here, New Arizona poll by CD Media, and at a big data poll, specifically for the Arizona gubernatorial election. They're suggesting the Kari Lake is leading by 1 percentage point above Katie Hobbs, with more than 20% undecided. Here's the kicker: Kari Lake is supposedly winning with independents by 10 points, double-digit lead, and leading with suburban voters by 7. That suggests a split in independent voters, which you could make a connection with undecided voters, people who are in the middle and not exactly sure. It's very likely that polling data is severely understating Kari Lake's lead in the state of Arizona. And I think this is just baseline everywhere. Fox News just came out with their House forecast and they're projecting a House majority of 225 seats for the Republicans, 180 seats for Democrats in 30. Plus toss-ups. Well, my prediction is that a lot of those toss-ups are going to toss all the way to the right, as far away from the Democrat Party as possible. And folks, I say this because once again, looking at the right polling data, you can take a look at 2022 generic congressional vote and all Democrats do is ignore everything here and look specifically at these 3 polls. But then if you look at the big picture, and you look away from these absolutely bogus, historically inaccurate polling firms, especially Politico/Morning Consult, and you look at Rasmussen and Trafalgar, which have both been incredibly accurate sources that don't underestimate Republican leads. They're showing +10 and +8, and it makes sense with the current political environment that we're seeing. Well, I think we're going to see the same thing all over the place. Not only do I think Kari Lake is going to absolutely dominate her Republican primary opponent backed by Mike Pence, I think she's also going to dominate Democrat hack Katie Hobbs. And I don't think it's just going to be in the state of Arizona. We're seeing incredible shifts. Here's a great example. Nevada voter registration report. Democrats 607,000, Republicans 556,000, Independents 528,000. Net difference since 2020, GOP plus 36,000 registered voters, that's 2,400 more than Biden's Nevada 2020 margin. So in the currently Democrat state of Nevada, we're seeing a voter registration net gain for the GOP have 36,000 voters, and we're seeing nearly 100,000 more registered independent voters. And of course, we know that independents right now we're shifting towards the Republican Party. What this signals to me is that Democrats clearly underestimate how bad of a political beating they are most likely going to receive in the midterms in 2022. Of course, it's all speculative, but that's how I'm currently interpreting the data. And we're Democrats, we're hoping that things were going to shift towards their side considering some of the cultural issues recently. Well, we're actually seeing a shift further and further towards Republicans. Rasmussen and Trafalgar both showing some of the biggest leads they've shown in months for the Republican Party. And now we have this new Georgia poll from Signal, which is of course a Republican internal poll, but still those tend to be a whole lot more accurate than Morning Consults and all these other bogus firms. We're now seeing a possible +5 lead for Brian Kemp, not counting undecided voters. I think people are underestimating Republicans. Democrats are incredibly confident right now that Raphael Warnock is going to beat Herschel Walker. I mean, the Democrats have infused millions upon millions of dollars into his campaign. Herschel Walker is running less ads. He's got less money. I think the least number that I saw, I don't know that off the top of my head, but it was something like Herschel Walker's campaign has $3.8 million. I believe in cash. Well, Raphael Warnock had 15 million or more. Polls are currently showing that Herschel Walker is losing, but I just have this feeling that Herschel Walker is either going to win or he's going to seriously overperform what the polls are telling us. And I think we're going to see this across the board. And I think Democrats are going to be seriously shocked as this new era of America First candidates start to seriously threaten the political establishment and status quo. I mean, just in the short term, could you imagine this new political landscape? People like Ron DeSantis, Kari Lake, Herschel Walker, and even Governor Glenn Youngkin in the state of Virginia. It really may be, as Dr. Steve Turley calls it, a new conservative age, and no wonder we're seeing so many bogus polls and bogus narratives, so much coping and so much fear-mongering coming from the clearly full-on panic desperate left. Now, I don't want to be too overly optimistic, but this is just my interpretation of the data. Hopefully you folks enjoyed this chat this morning. Thank you.